Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my shop. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. If you do, leave me a like and subscribe. Leave some comments. Now let's get busy at building some cars and working on some different types of equipment. A while back I made a video about these seats, and these seats are that I recovered were out of a 68 Satellite, Sport Satellite, and I bought these years ago. Actually, I think I got them in on a trade some time ago. But you think that you know everything about these cars, and the next thing you know, they throw you for a loop. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know, but Satellite, actually, this is the car I'm working on, actually, the Super B. Satellite, or Plymouth B body, has a smaller wheelbase or shorter wheelbase than a Cornet. These here, this here is the seats that I had in the Super B. These are out of a 70 Charger 500 that I owned years ago. These are the seats I recovered. I went to put them in thinking, well, this isn't going to be no big deal. Just throw them in, right? Well, this is a big deal. Because if you take this here and go in between the frame and that piece, this is the piece that hooks underneath the seat. And as you can see, maybe you can't, you're just right at 5.3 inches. Now you come over here and notice that's an inch difference. Not quite an inch difference. So 5.75, let's call it. 3/4 of an inch difference. From here to there. So that seat won't work. But this was my first clue. This here is the top part of the back seat that was out of that Charger or the Super B. I gotta tell you what, it is hotter than bejesus outside today. Let's just go like this. Actually, go from here. Okay. Now, that's 3.65 inches. Let's call it that. Seats out of the Satellite. See where my problem lies? I got to thinking about it. My first thought was, hey, let's just take the covers off of this one and put on this one. Same with the bottoms. But I need seats for the 69 Cornet that I'm building. That means that I would have a set of seats that I cannot use. I'm going to try to extend these somehow. It's going to probably take some welding.
So my first thoughts on how to do this. Also, another thing. If you look at this one here, and maybe you can't see that on camera, but this one comes down. Where this one comes up and matches that. So I've got to basically bring this one about right here, bend it up a little bit, and then come around and bring it down and weld it against this. So I'm going to make it so it goes like this, basically. Actually, I could probably just put it right up on top of that, since it's got to go up anyway. Yeah, I think I could. I could just put this right up on top of here and then weld this bar in and bring it around so that it's a quarter of an inch, 3/4 of an inch further up. Do that on both sides and then work this area here. I can bend this around to the same shape and just extend it onto here. I would just not have to have it as tight. I can have it as tight at the end. I just wouldn't have to have it as tight in this area here. But I just need to extend it outward this way. And then these seats should work. And then I'll have these seats for the Cornet I'm building. And these seats will go in the Super Bay like they're supposed to. Okay, so this is how this turned out. Now you can see that right here was where the original piece went. And then I just welded to the top of that here. Probably not my best welds, but I didn't want to spend too much time in there. A piece of wire. Mainly because I was afraid of starting the seat on fire. I did put a wet towel down and then a piece of tin behind here. And I also had a bucket of water just in case. Show you how it came out. Now this is the seat out of the 70 Charger 500. Wish I still had that car. That was a pretty cool car. Okay. It is so close. I think it'll work. All right. Now it's time to concentrate on these and making these longer. I think this is the easiest part. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm taking different size punches. I want to get that to be the right exact size. Okay, that's too big. Actually, no, that's about right. That there is the difference in the size of that. So that's over an inch. I would have never thought that, ever. All right. Okay, I didn't cut this piece here. I just added on, and these are just kind of spot welded. I don't think this needs to be very strong. It just kind of guides it into place. Now it's time to see if it'll work. The dog's barking at me. Or Dad, one of the two. Well, like that, it all worked. And now it's a bench seat car again, instead of having high back buckets. I got to figure out where to get these push nut deals for these seats. I don't know where to get those. Let's put it away for right now before there's supposed to be some pretty good storms coming. Yeah, this seat definitely going to need that piece. Hey, turn signals. She's a little on the cold blood side. Well, Super B's all put back in its shed for right now. I got to figure out why it's not running the best. I really think the carburetor on it needs to be replaced. There's something not right about it. Um, and it's missing. So I'm going to try to put new plugs in it. I don't know. Um, Thought about taking the plugs out and sandblasting them, but I think I'm just going to put new ones in there. I'm afraid they probably got glazed because when it would run right, we kind of ran it a little hard, which it should last for that. I mean, if the car won't do that, then I'll sell it, I guess. Probably not. Probably never sell this car. But anyway, I'm thinking the plugs may be a little glazed. It's got NGK plugs in it. I'm going to try Champions. I've always been a big fan of NGKs. I'm going to go get Champions for it tomorrow morning, actually, and see if I can get this thing to run a little better. But anyway, so yeah, I learned something new on this with them seats. Uh, that's pretty crazy. Um, but when you think about it, it makes sense. And I've had this discussion with many people on the Plymouth B body and the Dodge B body. They'll try to tell you that the floors are the same. The floors are not the same. The floor pan is different. The frames are the same, but the floor pans are different. And the Dodge B body is 1 inch
longer wheelbase than the Plymouth B body. And that's what we ran into, and that's what the problem was. And sometimes when you're out here, you just have to kind of work with what you got. Um, and that's what I did there. Just worked with what I had. When I bought this farm, this had a bunch of plates on it around, and these were actually never installed on a vehicle. They were just hanging on my wall. Actually, I found them and I hung them on the wall, but they were still in the bag. They came in 1969. I put them on here. This is kind of cool. This is not, obviously this car is titled and licensed. In Iowa, you can title it and license it, uh, but you can run these plates also, I guess, from what I understand. But I don't know if you can do that in other states or not. But anyway, I think they look kind of cool on here. Well, I think I'm going to go in before it starts storming because it looks like it could start storming about any minute. So I'll have a good day.